Hello there, Sir from 7T once again. This is my Gravity Daze walkthrough. This is episode 13, Kids Just Don't Understand. So if you move inside the cage, you can rock it and break your way out of it, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of a stealth section in this game. And yes, you heard correct, it has a little bit of stealth. It is as fundamentally simple as it could be, which is a good thing. All you're going to have to do is wait for the children to be looking in opposite directions, and then you're able to move and pass go and collect all your money and everything. And we're going to be walking on a pretty simple path, following the waypoint to get to the next sequence that's going to lead to a fight, because that's generally what this game does. So here's the first kid. He walks, he has a look around, and then he goes back. This whole sequence reminded me a lot of trying to break into Hyrule Castle on Ocarina of Time, where the guards are moving around and you have to make sure that they don't make line of sight with you. The only difference, of course, is a couple of years, and the music in that castle sequence is one of my favourites from the N64. It's just such a cheeky, awesome sounding music, and it perfectly fits that moment. But keep on pushing forward as we get towards a little bit just past halfway through the game. There are 21 episodes in total. Some of them get real quick towards the end because they're just boss fight and then next level, boss fight, next level. And it escalates super quickly, doesn't make a lot of sense, and you end up fighting a bunch of different things that you probably didn't think you would be. But still enjoyable, still a lot of fun, as I almost get caught by the child. And then he runs away, and then I watch his pattern, and then we'll pass him. Little fun fact for people, I was watching Gutex and Mike Ross on Excellent Adventures. They were playing off against Smug, and Smug was bodying them on Street Fighter V with his Karen while I was recording this, so there's a little bit of a timestamp for you. In the last video I was mentioning how I think that Street Fighter V is going to be really hype and fun to watch, and it is, thankfully, even though I still think Street Fighter 4 is a better game, for me personally, and I prefer watching it. But I can acknowledge that I think Street Fighter V is the better game because it's more honest. And I said one of the reasons for this was Street Fighter 4 has more bullshit in it. It has more gimmicks, it has more stupid unsafe shit and stupid safe shit that a lot of people relied on. And Street Fighter 5 doesn't have a lot of that, which makes it a much more fundamentally based game. And you can always tell the people that don't understand fighting games when they watch two high-level players spacing the neutral, playing footsies at a really high level, and they think it's boring and nothing is happening, when really there is so much happening it's not even funny. And that's coming from somebody who's quite new to the higher end of fighting games. I've only really been interested in bettering myself in fighting games for the last year, and even now, still rather new to the complexities of the systems. I can tell you that those opinions are just baffle the mind, because when you watch it, if you have even an inkling towards what's going on, even if there's nothing literally going on where the characters aren't kicking and punching, they're still doing things. It's so grossly ignorant, and we're all guilty of it at times. But some of the comments you get, I was reading a Twitter feed the other day, it was so funny. There was a dude saying that Chun-Li having lightning legs as a command normal rather than mashing the button makes her overpowered, and it breaks the game and it needs to be patched out. And he was making this massive violin case of Chun-Li being overpowered, which Chun-Li is very strong in Street Fighter V, we all know this. And this one dude asks him in this Twitch chat, because it was captured, I forget what the Twitter account is, it's something like quotes from Scrubs, it's hilarious. And this guy just asks him, his Twitch name is Daigo's Cock, which just gives you the idea of just the hilarity of this entire conversation. And the guy goes, did you play 3S? Which, to anyone who knows fighting games knows that that's a quick way of saying Third Strike. Because Chun was top tier in Third Strike, she was incredibly powerful, and she didn't have command normal legs in that game, and she was still really fucking good. She was a poking tool for every situation, next level of S tier. She was really, really good. And this guy's like, this guy who's on about, nerfing her, saying she's overpowered and she's breaking the game. I've never heard of that. No, never played it, no idea what it is. Like, how can you not know what Third Strike is? It just don't make any sense. Like, you get into Street Fighter 5 and you're all excited to play fighting games. Don't you at least go to Wikipedia or do a Google search to check out the ones that came before? I own Third Strike, and I've been into Street Fighter for, like I said, about a year. You know, you could call me a 15er, which is hilarious, because it's, you know, it's not true technically, because I played Street Fighter 2, you know, I played Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I played Mortal Kombat, I played Killer Instinct, I played fucking Clay Fighter, Pit Fighter, Shaq Fu, you know, I've played a whole bunch. You remember Thrill Kill, that one that was banned, where you could chop each other's arms off and shit? That was dumb. I've played a lot of fighting games, but I wouldn't call myself a fighting game player, which is why I would say that I'm a 15er, which is an insult in a lot of this very harsh community. But I can't understand not being like, oh, I'll probably look into Street Fighter 4, see what that's all about. You know, if you got really into Street Fighter 5 and you liked it, because fighting games are always different, you know, they're subtly different in some ways, but they're always different, and if you like one, you might like the other one. And one of the things I've learned in my small time trying to get better at them is the more you play, the better you get. And I don't just mean, you know, play tons of one game, I mean more fighting games. You go to another fighting game, it's completely different systems, but a lot of the fundamental philosophies are the same. So you will improve your gameplay in the other fighting game while you're playing this different fighting game. Because when you go back, you're going to see things you didn't see before. You're going to understand aspects of it. Like, playing Street Fighter 5 got me so much better at understanding space in Street Fighter 4. It got me so much sharper with anti-airs, because anti-airing in Street Fighter 5 is way more important than perhaps it is in Street Fighter 4, because in Street Fighter 4 you can get away with a lot of goofy shit that you can't in 5. And don't get me wrong, I think anti-airs are one of the cardinal sins that a lot of players really should work on, and myself included. But in 4, there is so much goofy shit that you can get away with it. Like, how many people focus for anti-air? Like, look at Punko. Punko focused for anti-air a ton. And he had good reasons for this. One of them was that Seth's DP is slower than all the other DPs in the game. I think except for maybe Saga. I don't know how fast his is. I've not checked the frame data, but when you have a 5-frame DP, it trades with a lot of things occasionally, unless you do the one that's invincible. So there are a lot of instances where unless you anti-air real sharply on point, you're going to trade. And trading as Seth is a bad idea because Seth loses every trade. He has too little life. So a lot of the times, you'll notice that Seth will either dash under, or they will focus, as what Punko did all the time. And another one, of course, is his close standing fierce, which is a really good anti-air, but it's better for people trying to cross you up. It's better for people neutral jumping than it is certain jump-ins. And if they have a dive kick, and they alter their jump trajectory, and you get baited, and you go for that anti-air and it misses, big punish coming your way. But in a game such as Street Fighter 5, because the neutral is so strong in that game, because you literally have to engage your opponent on those fundamental levels, and there's no focus, there's no FADC cancelling to get yourself safe, you have to commit, and committing when crush counters are a mechanic is a dangerous proposition. And that's what makes it so that learning your anti-airs is super important. And that's one of the reasons why I set up in training mode. I had my dummy as Nikali, and I recorded 6 different things for him to do, or 5, I forget how many you can do. One of them was walk forward, walk backwards, nothing. One of them was walk forward, walk backwards, jump towards me as an empty jump, and then a low. One of them was walk forwards, walk backwards, jumpwards, and a heavy kick. And then the other one was walk forward, walk backwards, jump and dive kick. And that way, I could try and get adjusted to knowing that I think he's going to jump, but not knowing when, and not knowing how. So there were times where I could preempt it, punish it, and there were other times where I learned the space of my normals where I could catch the dive kick, and it's such good practice. And then you come back to something like Street Fighter 4 where that's everybody jumps around like psychopaths and DPs and everything and does all this set play, pattern play bullshit. And I was noticing opportunities to anti-air way more and using things like dashing under and cross-unders to get an advantage. And it really helps you guys. The more fighting games you play, the better you'll be. And even a game such as this, there are elements of other games that will help your fundamentals in fighting games because you'll look at them differently. And vice versa. You will look at the combat in a game like this differently because of having a higher knowledge of a fighting game. because you look at things differently. And I know it sounds like stupid and maybe a bit pretentious, but it's true. The way you look at things is completely relative to your experiences and your past experiences. And if you can get a game that increases your knowledge and your ability to perceive certain aspects of a game, you're going to look at certain facets of it very differently, and it's all helping you become a better player. So thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.